Put it in the right place. Put it in the right place. Mad for it, mad for it. Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. I am live for the Netherlands against the United States of America. Kippers for tea in America. La 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 la. La 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 la. I'm not going to be biased. I do want the United States to win, but if anybody knows of a good Dutch song or pop star, I'm happy to sing it. But no, I'm going to be very honest from the outset here. Gakpo watch is what drives me. I've been very impressed with the United States. They were in England's group. They were very good. And yeah, I did enjoy that. But from Manchester United's point of view, it would be very, very preferable if Gakpo was out of the World Cup and negotiating a move to Manchester United, which is my priority. I'm sorry. I'm enjoying this World Cup, but my priority is always going to be club football and Manchester United. And that's just the way I am. So I like United States. I'd like them to do well. I like the underdog. They are the underdog. I'm going for the underdog. And that's just the way I'm going to do it. That's the way I'm going to do it. I hope that we get a good game. We could, of course, have our first penalty shootout, extra time. All these things are possibilities today. Somebody's just cracked open a Bud Light at 7 a.m. for this, says Chris Ramirez. Thanks if you're watching. And I know we have a lot of Americans watching. And I know we've got a lot of Dutch people watching. Get your comments in. We'll try and read them out. Thank you very much for the super chat there from... what am I doing here? I've just clicked a load of stuff that's not good. No, it's not porn. I've just clicked stuff on the live chat. Try predict the results for all round 16 games, says John Smith. What with the scores as well, or just predict who's going to win? Thank you for rooting for the US. It's rare European shows football's some love, says Ken. I've enjoyed the USA. I think they've been one of the most got the youngest team to reach the last 16 by a good year. Spain and then England in third. I think that they impressed me. Maybe that was because it was England's group, but they impressed me. And the Dutch. I think the Dutch have got gears to go through. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Dutch turned up today and won 2-0, comfortably. I mean, they are the favourites. I think there's an interesting... One theory I would say, and I could be outed as a genius here at full time, I have a suspicion, or certainly I would acknowledge there is a possibility that the quality of England's group is really bad, and therefore the Dutch will take the United States apart. What we don't know in this World Cup, and what I've not heard anybody discuss yet, is that people just assume that all the groups are the same. What if Brazil's group is just way, way better than the group that France were in, and the standard's better? What if Serbia and Switzerland and Cameroon are way, way better than Australia and Tunisia and whoever else were in France's group? Was it Denmark? So there is that we might get a mismatch in one of these round of 16 games where people go, USA are really good and Netherlands haven't been at their best yet, so it's going to be really close. What if it's not close? What if the Dutch group was way better? But then again, the Dutch were in a group with Qatar, weren't they? And we all know they were a bit shit. But the clock's not working at the moment because I I just need to reset it. But we can do that very easy. You just do this, look. You just go reset, start, stop, and it resets itself. But let's go through the team news. Lots to get involved in. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Big shout out to One Football, who are sponsoring our stats carousel, which I am just about to start up now. You will see the starting lineups. You will see the stats, which will obviously start generating when the game starts. But look, I would put the Dutch as favourites, although I do think that they're not the favourites to win the tournament. I don't think they'll hit the semi-finals, the Dutch, to be honest with you. I think they'll get Well, they've got a chance against Argentina. I think that'd be a close game, but I wouldn't put them as any. I wouldn't give the Netherlands a chance of winning this tournament. I'd be very, very surprised. But Nobbert in goal, Timber, Van Dijk, and Ake as a back three, Dumfries and Blind as the fullbacks, Darun and De Jong as the two midfielders, Klaassen as the 10, and then Gakpo and Depay as the front two, which obviously leaves some very talented players on the bench for Dutch. Bergwijn, De Ligt, obviously Malacia, we'll give him a shout out. Wout Weghorst is on the bench as well. Koopmeiners, Frimpong, Simons. They've got some good players, the Dutch. But and then the USA, Turner, Dest, Zimmerman, Ream and Robinson. Muzza, Adams, McKennie and Vea, Ferreira and Pulisic. Pretty stable starting 11 that they've used pretty much throughout this tournament. A lot of people say, why does Reina play? He just doesn't. He just doesn't do it, does he? He doesn't. 0-0 and penalties, a lot of people are saying. I'm fingers crossed hopeful. I mean, Cameroon's late goal yesterday was big in many ways, but it also, I don't know how late Cameroon scored, but it stopped this World Cup breaking the record, equaling the record for 0-0s, and they don't want that. We don't want that. You know, we as much as the first week was a bit dull, there's been 6 0-0s in this World Cup and the record is 7. Now, do you traditionally get more 0-0s in the knockout stage, or do you stop getting 0-0s in the knockout stage? That's a question for all of you. I don't know, but there is a chance that we could get a few tight games. I think both these teams have defended quite well. I would love to get an early goal. Wout Weghorst, you belong in a Harry Potter movie, says Niz. Big shout out as well. Well, it's not a shout out. Well, it is a shout out, but it's not a positive shout out. I'm sure some of you are aware of the saddening news coming out from the world of football in Brazil today that Pele, the great Pele, one of the greatest people to play the game, is unfortunately approaching the end of his life. He is in palliative care now. He's been suffering with cancer. He's not responding to chemotherapy, so it's just end of life care basically now, where they're making him comfortable. The cancer has spread around his body and there's nothing that they can do, which is obviously horrible for anybody, but it's horrible for the world of football because Pele is a player that will always be in that conversation of the greats, if not the greatest. I mean, I can't comment on it because I didn't see him play, but it's, he's up there, isn't he? Pele with the Maradonas of this world, and it's really sad. And prayers for Pele. It's lovely to see in the chat, but I think from the update, it's not the medical people involved are basically, making him comfortable. How long he has left, I don't know, but yeah, very, very sad news. As DG United says. And also from Pele to another Brazilian striker, Gabriel Jesus is apparently out of the World Cup now with a knee injury. And I was talking to someone last night and they were saying that Neymar may not get back. So are we starting to see now the wheels coming off Brazil? France have had it with Benzema and Nkunku. They've had a couple of players that they've had to miss out on, and now Brazil losing a couple of players as well. Now, Jesus wasn't actually starting for Brazil, but it's still a very, very good player. Apparently, for Arsenal fans, it's not too bad. They're expecting him to be back in January. It's not like it's a cruciate ligament or anything like that. But I don't envisage we're going to get lots of injuries in the World Cup, but I do envisage we're going to get a lot of injuries after the World Cup for people. Yeah, definitely. Cobra says, rest in peace, Pele. He's not died yet. He's sadly approaching the end with end-of-life care, which is what the news has come out this morning. But thoughts and prayers with Pele. And it's sad for the world of football, isn't it? It really is. Thanks, everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Really appreciate it. We've got 2 massive games today and tomorrow. We've got France tomorrow afternoon against Poland, and then England tomorrow night at 7 o'clock against Senegal. Obviously today we kick off the round of 16 with the Dutch against the USA and Argentina against Australia tonight at 7 o'clock. Do you know someone called Kev Adams? No. I keep getting asked this, Liam. I don't. And really, 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 really feel like, and it's not the lingering alcohol from my system last night that's making me feel like this, but I really do feel a sense of ignition, because I feel like I'm ready to pump it up. I think we're ready to pump it up for this tournament now. It's the knockout, isn't it? It's the day in the life of Amazon driver video out at 6 p.m, says Zach Jones. Okay, thank you very much for that. But no, look, this is the tournament this is the World Cup, this is the knockout stage now. There's no group games, there's no second chances. We will have a victor in this game by 6 o'clock, whether it's penalties and extra time or whether it's done by full time at 5 o'clock. We're ready to go, and I hope we're going to get a good game. We don't want. I think the knockout stages. I normally find the knockout stages a little bit up and down. You don't know whether you're going to get a really good game or whether you're going to get a really tight game. Sometimes teams do stand off a bit. We were talking about this yesterday, funnily enough, about I don't like extra time. 54% of games that go to extra time go to penalties. That's ridiculous. So over half of every game that goes to extra time is going to end up with penalties anyway. And what happens in extra time is teams are tired. They don't, they put a lot of work in. They do not want to make the mistake that kicks them out. So you get a very pragmatic game in extra time. What we don't want is the 90-minute games becoming like the extra time games where everyone's like, this is so tight, let's be careful. We want to see a few teams having a go in this tournament. That's what we're here for, isn't it? How is the bird from last night, says Elliot. Oh, that was brilliant. Are you America Bridge today, says David. I do want USA to win for two reasons. One, they have been the best team I've seen so far from an underdog point of view. I've really been impressed with how energetic they are. So I always want to back a team that's actually attractive to watch. I mean, I don't normally shout for the French, but they've played the best football for me, so I'll always applaud that. And then secondly, Gakpo plays for the Dutch. He's scored 3 goals in 3 games. If he scores again today, then his price is just going to keep going up and the competition's going to go up. And I think it's important that United get Gakpo, and the sooner he's out, the sooner we can get that deal done. So, I mean, that's a little bit of a silly thing, but I'm not anti-Dutch. I like the Dutch. I like Van Gaal. I like a lot of their players. I found them a little bit dull so far, and if they turn up today and play good football, then they get my vote. I know it's got nothing to do with the Netherlands versus USA game, but I just want to say that Morocco will make it to the quarterfinals. Mark my words, says Ben Jr. I'll tell you for free now. This is hard. Netherlands USA is probably my favourite game of the round of 16 because I can't predict it. It's so difficult to predict. I can't. I can say Netherlands are favourites and they'll probably win, but I can't say it with any true conviction. I think Argentina will beat Australia. I'd love Australia to win, but Argentina will win that. Poland and France will be France. England and Senegal will be England. We've got Portugal against Switzerland. You might get a shock there. I wouldn't be surprised if Switzerland beat Portugal. That might be a shock. Spain, Morocco. Spain will win that. Brazil against... Is it Brazil, Japan? I forget. Let me have a quick check. Knockout stage. No, it's Croatia, Japan, and Brazil, South Korea. Well, Brazil are going to beat South Korea, and I think Croatia and Japan... Again, I think Portugal, Switzerland, and Japan, Croatia, and this game are the hardest 3 for me to predict. I'm going to go with Croatia to beat Japan, and I'm going to go with Switzerland to beat Portugal. And in this game, I'm going to go USA. Sod it. I'm going to go with the team I want to win. I'm going to go USA for this. But there was a good comment there from Yazin. He says Netherlands will win with 1-0 from Van Dijk. I don't know whether you're basing your theory on this theory I'm about to mention, but I do agree, and I'm surprised that England didn't do enough about it. I do agree that you potentially can hurt USA from set pieces. They're not the tallest team. Their fullbacks are quite small. Well, Dest is. I don't know about Robinson. But... yeah, they're not a very tall team, the USA, and I think you can get that. You could get at them with set pieces, but nice ball out wide here. We've obviously started the game. You can see there. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right hand corner. Get involved with That's Football. We've done every watch along so far. and we'll continue doing them. So keep tuning in for the games and get involved. Really enjoyed it. Got my studio watch-along coming up very soon with Ricky, actually. So get ready for that. Keep your eyes out. We've spoke about Jesus. Ken's, out till January, out of the World Cup. Stephen says, Switzerland beating Portugal would not be a shock. Considering Rory getting huge and on minutes, imagine the total play time if a game goes to overtime. It'd be 150 minutes, says James. Yeah, well, James, if you do end up going to extra time, and there's 10 minutes added on at the end of the 90, and 5 minutes added on at the end of the first half, and then you are going to end up playing it's going to hurt you, isn't it, when the quarterfinals come around? Although for United States and the Netherlands, they do get a 6-day break, don't they now, till the quarterfinals, I think. Let's just hope it's not a 0-0. Cross comes in. USA have started off quite well. Pulisic is onside. I think he was onside. The linesman still hasn't put his flag up, and it's a big save here early on. Pulisic was in. I thought he was going to be offside, but that linesman's kept his flag down and he ain't raising it. Even Pulisic was looking at him. Let's have a look at this. It's a big miss if he's onside. So the cross comes in. It's headed out. Pulisic. Oh, Daley Blind's playing him miles on. Daley Blind there plays him miles on. It's a massive chance. It's a big save. It's a good save. You know what? I don't think Pulisic does a lot wrong. Keeper saves with his feet. He was onside. What a miss. Jamie said he was on, and he was on. But he's missed it. Big chance in the first 3 minutes for the USA. Got to get that out of your head. Got to get that out of your head. He was onside. Louis van Gaal, formerly of Manchester United. Daley Blind, Daddy Blind next to him. Daley Blind's dad, Danny Blind. Used to play for Ajax and Holland as well, or the Netherlands as they like to be called. Here's Pulisic again. USA starting off with big energy. The big thing that the USA need to do is score. Good play though, and the Dutch are looking to counter, aren't they? That's the set of the first few games here, first few minutes here. Dutch looking to counter. Let's hope we get a good game. USA on the attack again. They've started off very well. Lots and lots of possession in the Dutch half. Here we go. He's in the box. Oh, he's not in the box now. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. If you want to sync in with our timer, that's where we're at. I realise around the world you might be ahead, you might be behind. That's the problem when you've got a worldwide tournament. Feeds are different. But if you want to sync in, our timer's below USA there. Thanks everyone for tuning in. So we're just coming up for 6 minutes, well, 5.5 minutes in. A massive chance for USA with Pulisic. Probably should have scored. Well, he probably should have scored. I mean, he should have scored. No probably about it. But it remains 0-0. Do you think that some teams were holding back during the group stage, says Ivan? No, I don't. I think some teams played harder in their first 2 games and then took their foot off the pedal in the third game. 100% Brazil, France. I think Spain did in the last 20 minutes against Japan. Portugal did as well. But you earn the right to do that. Good tackle there, goes for a corner for USA. I think we'll struggle to score. Ferreira hasn't scored a goal since September, says the HPN. Him being in the squad is a major issue for USA fans. There you go. Insight into the striker Ferreira for USA fans. They don't fancy him at all. But I think one thing that you've got to factor in is that when you're in the group stage, the third game is massively beneficial for you, isn't it? In some ways. Like, you look at Tunisia, they beat France. Cameroon beat Brazil. South Korea beat Portugal. Would they have got those results if it had been the first game? Probably not. But I think we'll see a very different Spain against Morocco, a very different Portugal against Switzerland, a very different France against Poland, and the same with Brazil against South Korea. And I know we've had a few shocks in the group stage. I know we have, but the real shocks are if you do it in the knockout stage. You know, if South Korea beating Portugal's B team to get promoted is great, but if they can beat Brazil, that's something very different. Pulisic is down the left hand side here. Cross comes in, headed away. Aki. Terrible pass that is. With the size of the USA, if they wanted to invest in grassroots football and compete on the world stage, they could produce some really good players in the future. Their NFL facilities are top notch, says Joshua. It's a good point, that, Joshua. I think that's always been the story about the United States, is that if they really took football seriously, they could become a superpower in football. But that's why I was saying the other day, what's the reception in the United States to this? Because they've got so many other sports, haven't they? Good interception by Daley Blind here. Could lead with a good attack here. Memphis Depay on the left-hand side. He's looking up. He's into the box. Bit of skill. Good. Oh, terrible shot. Got caught under his feet. Did the hard bit well. The skill. Just couldn't get the ball out of his feet. But yeah, United States, they've got they're starting to invest more, says Let's Play Soccer. But you've got American football. You've got baseball. You've got hockey. You've got NBA. They've got a lot of sports, haven't they? And those sports are very American-centric. Like, you own those sports, basically. NFL is only in America, NBA, etc. I don't know what the mentality is towards sports that, you've got to compete with other countries with. I don't know. I'm not American. I don't know. I was impressed, Andre. I was very impressed with the Serbian goalkeeper. I know he let 3 goals in yesterday, but I thought he was brilliant against Brazil. And formerly, if it's Milinkovic-Savic, he was at United. Chance for this could be a goal. What a goal! What a goal for the Dutch! Absolutely superb. Memphis Depay. That is magnificent from the Dutch. Really, really good. The cutback from Dumfries, and Depay makes it 1-0. And you've got to say, that is a huge, huge goal. Pulisic should have scored. Massive chance for Pulisic. Didn't. The Dutch at the other end get their chance, and it falls to Memphis Depay. It's just the way the game has gone. The Dutch are getting chances to break, and they break well here. Nice ball into Dumfries. Look at the position that Memphis takes up. He's completely unmarked. Where's the midfield? He's unmarked. The cross to Dumfries. He can't believe it. So much time. And a lovely finish from Memphis Depay, who's just walking onto it, really. Walking onto the ball in the box. You just got to place it. And he has. It's quite straightforward for Memphis. He's just got to connect well. And he does. Places it into the bottom corner. Lovely cross from Dumfries. And the Dutch lead 1-0 after 10 minutes. So we've got that early goal that we wanted. But it's probably not the goal that you want well, it's not the goal you want if you're United States. They had the chance to go 1-0 up. They are the underdogs. They've gone 1-0 down. American here, the reason we don't produce many good players is because you have to pay to be part of academies here, so only well-off kids get training when they're young. That's not good news, Jimbo, is it? Chris says, I've got a pub question for you, Mark. What's the offspring of a stallion and a female donkey? Hint, it's not a mule. No idea, Chris. I love Memphis, says Robert McCormack. Oh, he'll be linked with United now. Darren, what a goal. He could do that for United. Oh, I can't. Darren, thanks very much, but I can't. I just predicted what you've just said. Somebody scores goal in World Cup. They'd be good for United. Do you want Embolo from Switzerland? Because I'm telling you now, his strike ratio is shit. I wouldn't want him anywhere near United. I don't want Memphis Depay at Manchester United just because he scored a goal in the World Cup, thanks. But it could happen. He's available for free. Lots of time left, says Amos. Yes, lots of time left for USA. They've got to get their heads up here now. They've not been behind in this tournament, have they? They scored first against Iran and Wales, and it was a 0-0 with England. So the first time behind, and it's in the knockout stage, and it's in the first 10 minutes. They've got to react now. Lots of people saying it looks like it's over. Nice ball in though. Pulisic is in again. He's got to get the cross right. Oh, I'd say he got that wrong. I think he's got to go ahead of the defensive line of the Dutch, not behind it. And Gakpo's on the run again. Oh, I tell you what, Gakpo, if he'd got his first touch right then, the pace they've got on the break is a problem. The United States look like they've got a problem with the break from the Dutch, and Gakpo then, if he'd got that out of his feet, I think he would have got away. But he didn't get it out of his feet, and he didn't get it away. But they lead 1-0 here. Do you think the better teams have better tactics, says Melka? Well, it tends to go hand in hand, mate. Oh. USA player's just been caught in the face there. He's given a free kick. Nothing more. I think Dumfries just throws an arm in his face. Nothing more sinister than that. Tyson Fury tonight. Got no interest. I like Tyson Fury. I like his fights, but I can't be arsed with that. No, I'd rather watch Love Actually. Our manager has a personal issue with Gio Reyna. Our media has tried to say he's injured, but Reyna's father has said that's not correct, says the HPN. Yeah, I'm surprised at the lack of game time he's had, but I mean, welcome to the world of international football and nepotism. Every international manager seems to have a little thing that fans of that country have a problem with. Do you like extra time, Mark, and penalties? I wouldn't mind it in a game like this because I don't really have a differential of favouritism. I mean, I do want the United States to win because they're the underdog. I liked the football they played in the group stage, and I'd prefer Cody Gakpo to be out of the World Cup so that we can sort of transfer out. But they're not big. I mean, if the Dutch win, I'm not going to be disappointed. So I wouldn't mind this going to penalties because it's the sort of game where you can enjoy it. I don't like extra time. I don't like extra time. I think it's a waste of time. In fact, I don't call it extra time. I call it waste of time because so many of them end up going to penalties, and you very rarely get an extra time that's entertaining. Oh, lovely bit of skill by Robinson here, the left back. He needs a runner. He needs to pass it. What? Why are they getting the last... This is the problem with the USA. Everything up to the final ball in this tournament has been remarkably good. And it's that final ball. What's England's route to the final, says Kawari. So, Senegal, then you play France or Poland, and then you're going to play in the semi-final one of Spain, Morocco, Portugal or Switzerland. And then probably Brazil in the final. Neither team are beating the Argies anyway, says Robert McCormack. I've not been impressed with Argentina. I think Argentina against the Netherlands would be quite a tight game. Oh, Daly blind. Gakpo played him in and he shoots over the ball. Blame it on the ball, Daly. Daly, blame it on the ball. It's all right. It's like a balloon. Do I think that England will get past France, Serene? No. Oh my God, they're doing a bloody Mexican wave. Do people not I cannot believe a football fan does not realise that the Mexican wave is the indicator of Pratt's. Like, most football fans cannot stand the Mexican wave. It is an indicator that the game is boring and you are a Pratt. And they've just done a Mexican wave. Mexican wave is where everyone stands up as it goes round. Brazil prediction for Brazil versus South Korea. Easy win, Jarden, for Brazil. With regards to England, Dutch just passing it out from the back here. With regards to England, I always felt that our tournament doesn't really start till the quarterfinals. The run to the final for a team like England should be very straightforward. And the only thing that can go wrong is a shock, really. We should beat Senegal. We should have beaten Iran, Wales, and we should have beat the United States, but we didn't. But I think England World Cup starts when they play somebody that's better than them. And I think France are better than us. And it doesn't mean that we can't beat them, but I think that's when it starts, really. Mark, Portugal or England are going to win the World Cup, says Noor. I completely disagree with you, Noor, but, you know, I hope you're right. Gabriel Jesus is out. Gooner Boy, he's out until January. Yeah, I had an altercation. Well, I didn't have an altercation. I had a brief meeting with a bird last night, and I mean a furry thing that's got feathers. I was just leaving town at about midnight, I think it was, and I was walking down an alleyway, and which was a shortcut, and a bird was singing like it was 7 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't like it was in trouble. It wasn't like it couldn't find its nest or something like that. It was happy, singing like a bird sings in the morning. And I was like, what are you doing? You're up way too early. People need to stop overlooking Senegal, says Jeff. I'm not saying Senegal can't win tomorrow. I just don't think they will. Oh, Memphis is in again. Shoots well wide there, well wide. Looking back at history, it's kind of weird that Holland play on the counter and USA have the possession, says Per Eric Klassen. Yeah, they are playing on the counter, the Dutch. We're only 40 subscribers away from 851,000, by the way. Please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let's see if we can hit that while we're live. Only 40 away from 851,000. Thanks, everyone. Let's have a little stretch. Ow. Robert says, don't get into altercation with birds in alleys. Especially not when you're married, Robert. No. Well, it's an interesting game, isn't it? Because Gakpo is playing as a striker, and there's a lot of United fans who say, I don't want Gakpo, he's not a striker, he's a winger. And it's like, you've never watched him, have you? You haven't got a bloody clue what he does. Yes, he plays off the wide a lot for PSV, but he's clearly a developmental player that is going to end up playing through the middle. And he's playing right-sided striker as well, which I think is interesting. But USA can't concede the next goal. They're still very much in this game. They've had a lot of possession, got a lot of energy as they have done in the group stage. But I think if they concede again, they're in trouble. I don't think they're the sort of team that looks like they've got 2 goals in them. I mean, of course, everybody's got 2 or 3 goals in them, but that's not how the USA have actually played throughout this tournament. Shorts Mania says, why do England fans hate Gareth Southgate so much? Well, they don't, mate. You know what? Actually, I was out last night and I was talking to a few people who sort of knew who I was, etc. So we got talking about football. And the funny thing is, if I was doing a poll, anybody over the age of 30 didn't really seem to like Southgate, and anybody under the age of 25 seemed to like Southgate. And it's funny because I must have spoke to about 20 people last night who, you know, throughout the night, who were asking me about England and Southgate. And yeah, I think there's definitely an age influence. I think the younger generation like Southgate because they've obviously grown up with a World Cup semi-final and a Euros final, and you know they see that in their life as success. Whereas the older generation tend to remember, you know, other England teams and are like, you know, Southgate's not getting the best out of these players. But I did hear an interesting rumour last night that Pochettino will be the next England manager. And I was like, oh, please be true. I mean, I don't believe it, but I was like, please be true. No matter what happens, Southgate will leave and Poch will take over. And I was like, please be true. Please be true. I'd love it. The Dutch are breaking away again here. If we buy Gakpo and then a striker in the summer, which left winger do you think moves to the right, says Andrew Davis. I don't know, Andrew. I mean, Anthony's going to play off the right. He's the first choice right winger. So, I mean, I don't know whether we would buy. You know, we might just buy Gakpo and that's it. We might not buy another striker. I mean, you'd still have Anthony, Rashford, Martial, Sancho. I would love Poch to take the England job because he's actually a decent coach. He'd pick Harry Kane all the time, yeah. Who's your upset for the round of 16, people, says Chris. And Clem says he's 15 and hates Southgate, to be fair. Oh no, I mean, it's not exclusively. You know, I wouldn't say every person under 25 likes Southgate, but it does tend to be the younger generation that back him. I don't know many people over 30 that rate him, but there will be some, of course. Shock of the round 16. I mean, is it a shock if Switzerland beat Portugal? That's the game I think that's the only one I think where a big team will go out. I think England will go through, France will go through, Brazil will go through, Spain will go through. Yeah, Argentina I think will go through. I mean, I'd love Australia to win tonight. It would be amazing, but I just can't see it. I think Australia need to keep that clean sheet for as long as possible. What is the keeper doing there? I thought he'd bottled it then. Boots it clear. United States have just got to stay in this game. 26 minutes gone. They're losing 1-0. They need to stay in this game and not concede again. And keep their heads up. Keep doing what they've been doing throughout the tournament. Good play by Dest here. He needs a runner. He's still got it. No, he's lost it. Do you think Poch would make better selections, says Tom? Well, he's a better coach, so he may pick the same players, but it may be a completely different team. Portugal are better than England, says Chin. I think Portugal are very similar to England. I think they've got the players to really go deep into the tournament, but I don't think they've got the coach. Memphis again. This defence is really struggling. And I'll tell you what, Memphis looks on it today. Wins a corner. They're struggling. That centre-back pairing for USA, they're struggling against the finesse and speed of Gakpo and Memphis at the moment. What do you think the scoreline will be in the Argentina-Australia game, says Ollie? I think Australia have got to keep a clean sheet for at least half an hour. If they concede early, I think it's going to be a long, long time for them. They've got to keep that clean sheet. Corner came in there, and he's given another corner. Senegal shocking coming tomorrow. World Cup of the underdogs, says the real Ivan. I don't think it's the World Cup of the underdogs at all. What's your definition of underdogs? Japan going through and Morocco going through. I don't define a tournament as underdogs from people going through the group stage because that's happened for years. You might want to check Japan 2020, Japan 2002 for a start. It's not the World Cup of underdogs just because a couple of teams, big teams get knocked out in the group stage. It always happens. The World Cup of underdogs will be if we get Morocco knocking out Spain, if we get South Korea knocking out Brazil, and I don't think we'll get that. Southgate is perfect for tournament football, says Paul. Well, you can have him, Paul. Have him for Christmas and keep him. Mark, would you want a centre-back like Tapsoba if we have the money and if we decide to buy another defender? I'd be very happy with a player like that, Ben. I think that the fact that you're looking at the right profile of centre-back is the most important thing for me. Here we go. Another mistake by the USA. Dumfries, what's he going to do with this cross? He's already put a good one in, and he nearly did it again. It was nearly in the path of Gakpo. I fancy England tomorrow. I do fancy England tomorrow. I think that England will come unstuck when we play against a big team, but for tomorrow, I think the only thing that would worry me is if Senegal were clinical. I do wonder about these USAs and Senegal and Morocco and Japan. It's like at this stage of the tournament, can they be clinical when they get their chance? And this game's perfect. the Dutch are leading 1-0, but Pulisic had a better chance than Memphis and he didn't take it. And at the end of the day, people are saying, oh, USA are out, the Dutch are going to win this. But really, if the USA had been clinical, they would be winning this game. And that's the big difference. How many times have the Dutch been deep in tournaments? Because the Dutch are considered a big footballing nation, aren't they? They've got that experience, whatever you want to call it. You can't buy that. And this is something that these teams need to understand, that in knockout football, you've got to take your chances. If you don't take your chances, you'll be taking a plane ride home. Louise, I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe put the sentence in front of the thing you're moaning about. Bet your savings on England if you really back England. Well, I don't bet, so I won't be betting anything on football, thank you. USA are a young team, says Dara. Yes. I mean, the USA are the youngest team in the knockout stage, and of course they host the tournament in 4 years' time. So there's a lot for USA to take from this tournament, no matter what. But I don't think they should be talking like that or thinking like that yet. They're still very much in this game, and if they could equalise, they'd have the momentum as well. Paul says, I don't think Australia stands a chance tonight. Like I say, it will be a difficult game tomorrow if they... it'll be a difficult game tonight if Argentina score early. Somebody just asked me a question about the dress and whether you've still got it. I do. It's on the floor beside me, which just shows me how busy I've been on that side of the office that I haven't even tidied it up. It's still here. You can still get it. I'm going to frame it. I don't know why Dullit doesn't get a chance, Kian. I like Dullit, but doesn't get a chance, does he? That reminds me, actually. I'm still going to talk to you, but I just want to check something. Yeah, I don't know why he doesn't pick Dullit. I do like Dullit, and I'm not too sure why he won't pick him. But look, sometimes, look at the England squad. It's the same thing, isn't it? Doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get picked, but it is surprising, I suppose, when you've got three centre backs. Thoughts on Ahmad's loan move? Seems to be doing well, says Shahid. I've not taken any attention. I've not paid any attention, I'll be honest. I think the Championship's back, isn't it, next weekend? I can understand why Malacia doesn't play Roshi, because they've got Daley Blind there, haven't they? And he's like I mean, Van Gaal loves Daley Blind, so he's always going to pick him. Even if he's 90, he'll pick him. But with Aki and Timber and Van Dijk, I'm surprised Dullit doesn't get a game. Oh, Championship was back today, apparently. All right, okay. I just saw Blackburn playing Ajax, and I was like, well, Ajax aren't in the Championship. KD says Dullit got cooked by Sarr in the first game, and that's why he's not been in the team. I think it's important for this game that the USA score next, because if the Dutch score next, I think it's going to be very difficult for USA to get back into it. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right hand corner, we're only about 30 away from 851,000. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Remember, doing every watch along on this channel. Tomorrow is my day. My pick of the day is tomorrow. 3 o'clock live for France against Poland, and then England at 7 o'clock. It's a Sunday of football tomorrow, and I'm here for it. The tree's up, the World Cup's on. Never thought I'd be saying that. But in fact, if someone said to me that you'd have the Christmas tree up while you're watching the World Cup a couple of years ago, I would have said, why is Pratt putting a Christmas tree up in June? But of course, this is a Christmas World Cup. Have you seen any development in the play compared to earlier in the tournaments, as per Eric Klassen? No. Nope. I actually think that this could be a group game. I don't think we're seeing any more open football. I think the USA are very similar to how they played in the group, and I think the Dutch are similar to how they played in the group. I'm surprised by the Dutch, to be honest with you. I mean, look at the possession that just went round there. I'm very surprised, especially by Louis van Gaal. It's working for them. They're basically counter-attacking here, and you know that whatever works, doesn't it? But if you look at that for a moment, look at that. 42% possession for the Dutch and 58% possession for United States. You wouldn't predict that in a normal scenario. So I'd like to see the Dutch play a little bit more expansive. They've got the players to do it, but it probably isn't the plan. Any chance of making your second half clock start from 45? No, B. Yakov. I've said this a million times. And I can't do it. I've never found a timer that I can do it. And the reason they do it in the studio is because they've got a different setup to me. Matthew says, Aki is left-footed and Van Gaal always wants a left-footed player at left centre-back. That's why he plays, says Matthew. There you go. I've got no updates on the Man United sale, Louis, no. They're on the attack here with Muzza. And again, it's the wrong ball, but Pulisic gets it. Robinson with the cross. There's nobody in the box. Mark, when you talk about getting paid to come to Qatar, you talk as if they don't get paid to go to other World Cups. It's not hypocrisy. It's how it is with FIFA. And the AC was for a summer World Cup, but FIFA wanted it in the winter, says AMK. I'm not... You're clearly pro the Qatar World Cup in November. Well done for having an opinion. You're not drawing me in. I think the hypocrisy of many people who've gone out there is very clear to see. And they've done it for money, but that's up to them. I'm not getting into that argument, and I'm never going to agree with anybody that this World Cup is at the right time. It's not, and we're going to pay the price for it after the World Cup when players get injured for a break or actually are injured. The integrity of our domestic tournaments are in the mud. Manchester United haven't won a trophy for 5 years. We've got a Carabao Cup game against Burnley where at least 75% of our team won't even be available. So where's the integrity in that tournament that we're trying to win? Where's the integrity of that tournament when we can't put 75% of our first team out because they're in the World Cup? It's FA Cup third round. How many managers are going to pick the reserves because they want to give their players time off because they're going to be knackered? Think about Aston Villa. They've only got 2 players in their whole squad in the World Cup, so they've basically had a 5-week pre-season. They're not in Europe, so Arsenal, maybe they're going to play Villa on the Sunday. In March, they've played 3 games a week. Most of their team's gone to the World Cup, and Villa are super fresh. I think that I've enjoyed the World Cup. I'm enjoying the World Cup, and it's got nothing to do with where it is. It's got nothing to do with the politics of that. I just think that the sticking a World Cup in the middle of this, in the middle of a season, is going to cause a lot of issues. And if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong, but I'm not going to change my opinion on that. Mark, what should I eat for breakfast, says Ronan. Having had a few drinks, there's nothing I would like more than a full cooked English breakfast. I'm talking sausages, beans, mushrooms, hash browns, bacon. Yeah, I'd be all over that for breakfast this morning. AMK says, I'm telling you now, as someone who is in Qatar, I do not agree with it in the winter. It's just FIFA being stubborn, says AMK. Hey, mate. I'm with you on that. I think it's wrong that Qatar gets blamed for this World Cup being in the winter. You're absolutely spot on. I don't think FIFA have had enough shit. It feels to me like anything that's negative about this World Cup is aimed at Qatar, and that's not fair. It's not exclusively on Qatar. If FIFA didn't want this to happen, they could have stopped it. It's ultimately, you go to a restaurant tonight and your steak isn't great. Are you going to blame the waiter or are you going to blame the chef? And the FIFA have cooked this up. You're right. Fusen says he's enjoying the World Cup. That's great. Absolutely great. And I'm really pleased for you. I'm enjoying the football. I'm not enjoying not having domestic football over the festive period. I think is a bit odd. But it's for me, it's just the way that everything's been condensed. Getting all the Champions League games done before November. playing 3 games. I mean, we lost to Villa because of this. We lost to Villa because of this ridiculous schedule. And we're probably going to drop a lot more points after Christmas as well. But look, I don't have the definitive answer. I'm not. It's just my opinion, and some people just don't like people having an opinion. I can respect somebody having a completely different approach and saying I love. Maybe some people are like, I like this. I wish the World Cup was in December every 4 years and that we condensed everything and shoot! Oh, shoot! Oh. Rest in peace, Pele, says Tom. I don't think he's died yet, mate, but he is on the way out, unfortunately. I'll double check on that. But USA are doing all right. They're doing all right considering the early goal going down. They just lack that cutting edge, don't they? They just lack that cutting edge. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. USA really would love them to score. This game would be brilliant if we could get an equaliser. 42 minutes gone already as well. You know what? Oh, what a shot that was from outside the box. He still got it. Cross comes in. It's a terrible cross. I'm not impressed with the Dutch. Not impressed with the Dutch. I'm going to tweet it as well. Living in America makes my breakfast add 30 grams of sugar, but American breakfast is superior to beans on toast, says Ronan. Thank you very much there. Yeah. Tyler Adams is class. Mark, imagine USA versus Australia. Soccer versus soccer, says Brett. What are your thoughts on Gakpo to Birmingham, says Bellas? That's not going to happen, is it? Yeah, Laura says the Dutch don't seem to be able to get out of third gear. We need a USA goal. I feel like they deserve it as well. Good running by Dest. Keeps going. Shoot, mate. Oh, final ball again. That's so frustrating. The USA, they play so well on the first and second phase, but the third phase, it's a problem. And now Gakpo has done really well here. Defenders need some help. Good defending. I think the fullbacks for USA have been very good. Robinson and Dest, very, very good. But yeah, they get into that final third and they just can't. They can't do it. They can't do it. Netherlands are boring, says Iron Fan. If Australia, Poland or Senegal advances, then this World Cup might actually become the most unpredictable in history. Upsets are becoming daily, says Myron. I'm not expecting any upsets, Matt. As much as I think people love that, I don't think we'll see it. I can't see it. I really can't. I think Spain will beat Morocco. Morocco's probably got the best chance of causing the biggest upset, but I don't think it'll happen. I think the best we're going to get is Switzerland beating Portugal. I don't think Senegal will beat England. I certainly don't think South Korea are going to beat Brazil or Poland beat France. Can't wait for North Korea 2032 in September. FIFA are a joke, says Michael. And personally, as someone who cares about the World Cup more than club, I prefer it over the holiday, says Max. And was it a date night with Charlie last night? Says 7:30 promo. I don't know what you're he talking about? No, look, I don't want to talk about that because I want USA to score. I want this game to be an interesting game. I think the Dutch have been... Oh, fuck off. 2-0 to the Dutch. Boring. I'm so, well done to the Dutch. I know a lot of Dutch people, but fucking hell, what a boring approach to footballing. They've literally counterattacked and scored 2 goals. I mean, it's brilliant. It's brilliant from the Dutch, but it's just boring. Boring football, but very effective. Very effective. Like the One Show. It's there every night at 7 o'clock. It's boring TV, but it's consistent. Oh, it probably is game over. I don't see the Dutch getting to. Daley Blind. I think it's right on half time as well, isn't it? He's only added 1 minute. Oh, that's a sickener, that is. It really is a sickener. I mean, in the interest of this World Cup actually being entertaining, do we want the Dutch to be won at half time? Do we want Argentina to beat Australia comfortably? You know, France are going to beat Poland tomorrow. England beat Senegal, and it's just 4 favourites through. We want what we had in the last few games of the group stage. We want the shocks. We want the Japans. We want the South Koreas. We want, you know, that's what we want. And I'm disappointed with that. I've got to say I'm disappointed with that because for me, the better footballing side is 2-0 down, but the most clinical footballing side is 2-0 up. And you've got to respect it. You have to respect it. We don't. But I mean, look at that. Look at that. 37%. Look, I'm not anti-Dutch, like far from it. You know, I like Van Gaal. He used to manage Man United. He's a character. Daley Blind, what a great player he is. Van Dijk's one of the best centre backs in the world. Gakpo and Memphis are really exciting. Frankie De Jong's a good player, but I don't want that to happen. I want entertaining football. I think that the way that the USA play is far more interesting than a team that's just sitting back and counter-attacking like the Dutch. 37% possession and they're 2-0 up. It's a story of that's not the Dutch for me. The Dutch should be a possession-based side, and they're not. They're very pragmatic and they're very counter-attack. But the USA have only got themselves to blame. You know what I think it is, and I think we're going to see a lot of this in the knockout stage, unfortunately, and it might make it a little bit predictable until we get to the quarterfinals where decent teams play decent teams. And we're only in game 1, and I really hope I'm wrong. But we've already seen it here. I think the experienced teams are going to play on the naivety of the more naive teams. And I think we've seen it here already. And we may well see it with Senegal and England tomorrow. We might well see it with Australia and Argentina, South Korea and Brazil, where I think all of the favourites will come through because of the experience that they have as a footballing nation and the quality that they have. Pulisic has a chance in the first 4 minutes to make it 1-0, and it's a very different game. And he misses it. He bottles it. He Timo Werners it. Whatever you want to call it, he should score it. Memphis Depay goes up the other end, gets a chance and scores 1-0. The USA then dominate possession at 1-0 down right before half time. The Dutch go up the other end, and Daley Blind makes it 2-0. You know, they are complete and utter sucker blows for the USA, but the USA are a young side who need to learn, and unfortunately they're learning at the sharp end of this tournament where the Dutch are just going through the motions. And look, for the Dutch, get through this game, Argentina or Australia, probably Argentina. that's going to be a very pragmatic game as well. You might get through to the World Cup semi-final, in which case I think you've overachieved. Frustrating for us, says Butterpants. We've been by far the better team, not handling the counter well. Destiny's having a really good match. I agree. I think that you've been the better team, but just caught out. As an American, I confirm that we are literally trash at this game when it comes at doing what counts, says Ice Mooney. Boring but effective should be Van Gaal's tagline, says Vrish. Also, De Jong is playing really well. He's been key. He's broken up all the final passes, says Butterpants. English breakfast is my weekend breakfast. Eggs, beans, mushrooms, hash browns, chicken sausages, and no bacon for religious reasons. Lovely, says Hader. And Goldbridge's world-class analysis and used to have a big right hand back in the day, says Sheriff. Okay. Thanks for the super chats. You know what? I think that one thing that's really important in the analysis of this game is the way that, if you think about Leeds or Man City, you think about a team that wants to press and get high up the pitch with possession like USA does. What happens? You leave space at the back. It's perfect for the Dutch. They are playing the more pragmatic / boring football, but it's perfect for them because they're defending well, they're not conceding chances, and then when they break, they know they're breaking into space and they know the space is going to be there, and they've scored 2 goals from that. It's not anti-football, it's just, for some, and I'd say myself, not great football to watch. But for Van Gaal, he's probably sat there with a big grin on his face saying, they can't break my defence down. There's no space for them. And when we break, there's loads of space because they're committing men to get forward. It's not I want, in those two styles, I want USA to win. But from a Dutch point of view, it's very, very effective and efficient to just soak up the pressure and then know that you are quite a lot. They are countering 2v2 with Gakpo and Memphis. And then they hold the ball up, you make the runs from deep and you get the goals. And it's there. The Dutch invented total football, but it has never won us anything except 88. I'll take this tournament football for now, says Colin. And it's tournament football, Mark. Conserving energy is just as important as winning. You don't want to be fatigued when you reach the later rounds. Oh, Matthew, that's about the best excuse for crap football I've ever seen. So you've played 4 games like that. The Dutch have played 4 games like this because they're trying to save energy for a final they won't get to. Mate, this is Van Gaal. He's going to play this all the way to you getting knocked out. You are going to play a back 5 and you are going to counter, and that's what you're going to do. And you could win it doing that, but you're not conserving energy for the semi-final where you're just going to suddenly go, let's go for it. Nick says, USA is very young and inexperienced. This team will be 2 times better next World Cup. Average age of 25 years old in today's lineup. And thank you very much, Sheriff. But as much as I'm disappointed, and I am disappointed because for me, the better footballing team is losing, I'm not going to let that cloud my judgment, and nobody else should let it cloud their judgment, that the Dutch do deserve to win. Just because you don't like their style of football doesn't mean they don't deserve to win. Jose Mourinho won titles and Champions League playing, very, very defensive football, and they deserve to win it. So I'm not saying that the Dutch don't deserve to win. They've been ridiculously efficient. They've taken their goals very, very well. And they are happy to let the USA run around with the ball and then counter them. Or not even counter them. At times, just, attack the way they have. The better footballing team is always the winner, says Sibster. No, that's not true. You've exposed yourself there. And USA lack a killer striking cutting edge, passing endlessly around the box just to miss it at the end. Hurts to watch, says Iffy. I would say, is there a way back for the United States? I don't think so. I'd be a hypocrite if I said that there was. I hope there is. The next goal could be big, but they don't look like a team that's got 2 goals in them. I think that's been the problem. As good on the eye as USA have been this tournament, and they have, their problem has been the final ball, the final third. England, they should have won 0-0. Wales, they should have won 1-1. Iran should have won by more than 1. Nervously hanging on. The USA's only real criticism this tournament has been the inability to score goals. And I don't see them coming back from 2-0. England-Netherlands would end up 0-0. Well, we can't play each other until the final. And that's, I'd be very, very... That would be shock of the tournament. If England played Netherlands in a World Cup final, that really would be a World Cup of shocks. Rayner's going to come on, says Jonathan, and... US haven't been that good. They pass well and have energy, but Dutch created the better chances. DK, I don't know what that means. Football is subjective. I think they played really well. I think the Dutch have been really boring. You've took your chances, but I don't think you've played well. You might be right, Mark, but this is just the first game. Most people on the betting markets are picking Senegal being the big upset. We shall see, says Billy Jones. I'm blinkered. If I was Dutch or Spanish or American or whatever, and I was looking at Senegal, England, I would look at it and go, that's a potential shock. But because I'm English and I know the players we've got and I know how pragmatic we are, I can see us winning that game. And sometimes England are capable, like we did against Ukraine in the Euros. We could knock Senegal aside 3 or 4-0, but I think we will do it. Yeah. Do you see Brazil or Argentina winning the World Cup without Neymar or Messi? Tiger Claws. I think Argentina would struggle without Messi, but I don't think Brazil. I still think Brazil can do it without Neymar. Yeah, and they're not out, are they? Messi's not injured, so we're talking hypothetical here. The Netherlands have completely removed Pulisic from the game. Where is Pulisic? Is he playing today? I haven't seen him. I've seen him touch the ball quite a lot of times in your penalty box, mate, and I've seen him miss a sitter. So I don't think you've completely removed him at all. Not playing Gio is a tragedy. This is Rayner. Same type of stuff with Southgate and Rashford, Foden. Unfortunately, we need a miracle to get back in this game. So Stuart Walker. Mark, Jose is higher than Pep as he won the Champions League with dead teams. It's hard to watch, but if it works and you win trophies, it can be sensational, says Alex G. It's the trade-off, mate. You know, I've got every right to an opinion as anybody else has at football. That's what makes it so great. As an Englishman watching the Dutch, I find you very boring. But I'm sure the Dutch man watching England feels exactly, or woman feels exactly the same. But ultimately, like you say, it matters not if you win the tournament. The Dutch are not going to light this tournament up like France have or Brazil have. But if they win it, then that's all that matters, isn't it? That's why football's the great game, isn't it? Because you get the Pep Guardiolas of this world who want to win and want to win in a way that's very entertaining. And then you get the Jose Mourinhos of this world who want to win by any means possible, and sometimes in a very defensive way. But ultimately, the trophy is the same. It's not polished different. It doesn't get an extra handle if you win it with better football. And in international football, I've got to be honest, in international football, I think it attracts more pragmatic football, boring football, because what is easier to coach? Is it easier to coach a team to be defensively organised and counter? Or is it easier to coach a team that is entertaining and knows where everybody is and passes the ball around well? And the honest answer is, in international football, you only link up 4 or 5 times a year for a couple of weeks. And sometimes you've got to go with what is pragmatic and safe. And I think we see a lot of that in international football. Portugal do it. England do it. The Dutch are doing it in this tournament. There's many other. Poland do it. I mean, so many teams do it. There's not actually that many teams in international football that are inherently entertaining. Whatever happens today, the US playing is really showing how far and rapidly we've progressed as Butterpants. Yeah, look, if it is to be the end of the tournament for the USA, and maybe it is, then that I can say, and I think a lot of people who aren't from America would say that the USA have certainly made their mark on this tournament in relation to how they've played. I think their midfield has been as impressive as any midfield, 3. And it's exciting if they can build on that with the experience that they've got to take into a World Cup that they're going to be joint hosting in 4 years' time. So I think the USA can take a lot from it. And it's like anything. It's like any team. It's like if Arsenal don't win the league this year and Man City win it, which I think will happen. Arsenal can be very... For Arsenal, for me, it's like how far can Arsenal push Man City? And they're top at the moment, but can they win this trophy, the title, which would be amazing? But if they're not going to win it, how long can they push Man City? Can they push them to April? Can they push them to May? Will it be March? And then what will you take from that for next season and build upon that? And that's the thing. You've got to take the lesson. And for me, it's very obvious with the USA that they've got a lot of areas they can improve on, but they just need to be more clinical. In the final third, they need to be more clinical. They're very good at getting to the position where a defence is in trouble, but they're not very good at what the Dutch have done twice, which is finding the right pass and then being clinical with the finish. So they could learn, if they go out the United States in this second half, they could learn a lot from the Dutch in this game. And sometimes, Coop Miners has come on here, sometimes you are better off going out of a tournament if you want to learn 2 or 3-0. I've made 2 subs here. Bergwijn's on and Coop Miners is on. Rayner is on for USA as well. We'll go through that in a minute. But yeah, sometimes if United States go out 2-0, I'd say they'll learn more from losing 2-0 than they would if they'd lost on penalties, and it's an injustice, because they can take the lessons from this game and go, we lost because we're not efficient and clinical, and the Dutch won because they are. And in the next tournament, that's what we need to learn. US midfield is playing well. Adams or Musa get big club offers soon, says David Young. Well, I mean, look, they're both at places where I don't think they need to make immediate moves. It's a bit like Enzo Fernandez at Benfica, isn't it? I'm sure there's a big club for Enzo Fernandez in the future. But at the moment, Benfica's a good place to be. Obviously, Tyler Adams is at Leeds. Doesn't need to move. He's playing in the Premier League. Leeds are a good side. And Musa's at Valencia, isn't he? So, but yeah, I think they've both got. They'll both be players that clubs are looking at, definitely. Rayner is playing now. I'm just going to start the stats carousel. Remember the stats carousel, which is on my left, top right-hand corner. You've got the QR code that you can scan. OneFootball are sponsoring our stats carousel. You can download it through the link in the description, or you can you can scan the QR code in the top right-hand corner. Get all your latest breaking football news, transfer news, stats on OneFootball. It's free to download and it's available on all platforms. OneFootball app, give it a go. I think one thing that's important that we mentioned before the game as well, and I would just keep it in your head as a personal thing when you're watching these games over the next few days. At some point, there will be a game where you go, yeah, that group was shit then. And obviously, in this case, it's not happened. But if United States were winning 3-0, you'd go, God, that Qatar and Senegal and Netherlands group was really shit. Compared to USA's group. But I think in this, it's quite obvious that there's quite a similarity between Group A and B. But we probably will hit that at some point. Have you seen the Pele news, says Uneducated Duck? I've heard that he's having end-of-life care, yes, that he's not responding anymore to cancer treatment, and basically they're just giving him medication to make him comfortable. So it's coming towards the end of Pele, isn't it? Which is very, very sad for football. Bergkamp's generation was the last one with any swagger. Even the 2010 finalists were boring, says Kenneth. Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether we've got any Dutch people watching. I mean, he's sat with Edgar Davids and Danny Blind next to him, and Louis van Gaal has had some very entertaining sides throughout his career. But we do... it's 2v2 here with Memphis. It's too far for Bergwijn. Well, Daley Blind's having the time of his life. Just had a little flick in the penalty box there. USA need to stabilise here and just get back into the game. But, you know, I mean, traditionally, I think of the Dutch, and I always think of the possession-based football, the total football. And realistically, when was the last time... And I don't know this. When was the last time the Dutch played entertaining football? Like you say, the 2010 World Cup final, they were abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. But they got to the final. But they never stood a chance. Corner to USA here. I mean, they're not going to score from a corner. They've got literally no real aerial threat. And then it is just scored from a corner. Oh, if that had gone in, I'd have looked all right, Pratt. But it didn't. He should have scored. He just couldn't get it out of his feet, to be fair. Favourite Dutch player? I mean, I'm old enough to just about vaguely remember Italia 90 with like Hullet and Rijkaard. Van Basten as well. But Bergkamp's probably the one that, you know, just, I mean, and he did some amazing things in the World Cup, didn't he? I mean, that goal against Argentina was just magnificent. And it could have been 3-0 there. Memphis nearly making it 3-0. I'll tell you what you've got to say about the Dutch. Very efficient in that penalty box. I've just been told I talk too much. Yeah, it's a watch-along, mate, and I'm basically the only thing on the screen. Trust me, I'd like to talk less. I love Van Persie's goal in Brazil. Yeah, I've written the USA off now. I don't see them coming back, but at 2-0, you never know. I just have a feeling the Dutch are likely to score. Good tackle there. Very good tackle there. Now, here we go. USA on the break, but there's so many options. The Dutch have defended so well. Here's Weah into Dest. Goes for a shot. It's wild. It's so wild it's going to go for a throw-in. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner to do that. We're very close to 851,000. I'm starting to get hungry. Daily Blin there with his dad. That must be lovely, isn't it? Did you know that 3 weeks tomorrow, it's Christmas Day? Pulisic with the shot, rubbish. Mark, United linked with Vardiel. Your thoughts on him, says Vivek. I haven't seen us be linked to him, so don't get me too excited. Don't get me too excited. Do you think we should... Tommy says, do you think we should be worried that England played a 0-0 against this USA side? And I don't think Tommy's being disrespectful to the USA there, because the USA played better against England. But I think what Tommy is saying is that, you know, you can score against them. And the fact that England never really looked like doing it is a bit embarrassing. I mean, USA have played some good football in this game, but they're 2-0 down. And, you know, apart from the Pulisic chance, they've not really created anything. Whereas the Dutch... They may not have the possession, but they are playing very, very well. Here is it Rayner down the left-hand side here? Lays it off. Oh, just over the bar there. By McKennie. You're so popular now, you don't mind missing chat, says Sheriff. And Clarence Seedorf appreciation post, says Robert McCormack. Yeah, very good player. Do you think Man United have the chance of getting Mbappe, says Michael? No. Seedorf was mine growing up, says Robert McCormack. They've had a couple of chances, the USA, in this second half. I mean, if they get this, they need to get the next goal. They've got to get the next goal and then just push it, because the Dutch aren't going to change. They are going to keep playing counter-attacking football. So if the USA can get one goal back, they know the Dutch are going to invite pressure anyway. So it would make for an interesting last half an hour, 20 minutes. But what do you think would make a change to this USA side? I think if they had Lewandowski up front, they'd be a bloody good side, wouldn't they? I mean, it's that simple. And unfortunately, welcome to the world of international football, because Lewandowski plays for Poland, who, you know, could do with this USA midfield behind him. The disparity in international football is stark, isn't it? That's why you have big footballing nations that traditionally are always favourites, whether it's Germany, France, Brazil. You look at their squads and they're just, you know, the players that don't even get called up for a 25-man squad. That's just how much depth they've got. But USA, they just haven't got a striker. And if you put a Lewandowski in that team, or not even a Lewandowski, I think if you gave them somebody like, just trying to think, who's in this tournament that's not like superstar striker but would be good. Even the lad from Iran. They just need someone who can put the ball in the back of the net. Strong play by Van Dijk there. Mitrovic, yeah, good one. FPL down. Mitrovic would be fine, yeah. Jonathan David. I mean, I don't know about Jonathan David. We've not really seen enough of him, have we? But yeah, just a striker. Callum Wilson would be great. Yeah. I don't know whether the United States have got anybody coming through, but that's something that you know, for everything that you learn from this tournament, whenever you go out, whether it's today or next week, you can learn a lot, but you've got to get somebody who can put the ball in the back of the net. And I don't know whether the United States have got anybody coming through, but you've got to have a striker by the next World Cup, because, you know, that's one thing about England is we don't play very good football most of the time, but we're always capable of scoring a goal when you've got Harry Kane in this team, and you can play really badly and win because you've got a goal scorer. But unfortunately, in football, you can play really well, like I think USA have, but you can be losing 2-0 if you haven't got a goal scorer. Goals win games. Simple as, simple as. What did I do last night? I went out about 7 to a bar, and I had a few beers, and it's a very popular bar, sort of. It's not a restaurant. It's an Indian sort of bar, really. It's called the Tap and Tandoori or something like that, and it's a very much a pub inside, but people sit down and have like Indian food and stuff, and they have all the football on, so that was good. And then I ended up going off somewhere else for a couple of late night ones. I had a mojito as well. I just needed a night off. I think we all feel like it, don't we? I mean, the World Cup's been going for 2 weeks straight, isn't it now? Tomorrow. And it's flown by. Sam, thank you very much for the super chat. We have 2 strikers, Pep and Jordan. Pefok, along with Balogun, our manager, left them at home, says the HPN. Okay. Well, you need a striker. Thanks, George from Kenya. Let us know where you're watching from, by the way. It is the World Cup, so where is everybody watching from in the world? Let us know. We'll shout some of you out. Half an hour to go here. I agree with Odin. He says, I feel like USA play well in the midfield, but we just can't finish anything. Yeah. I think your midfield has battled every team you've played so far in this tournament. And arguably won. And if you think about England, that midfield was Bellingham, Rice and Mount. And this midfield has got, Frankie de Jong in it. And you're more than competitive. Cross comes in, headed away. By Van Dijk. He's having a good game, Van Dijk, isn't he? Oh, that's a foul. A yellow card as well. For Coop Miners. What was the name of that midfielder that... he was Dutch. United were going to buy him. And he had a bad knee injury. And then his career just sort of fell off a cliff. He did come back. I think, funnily enough, Van Gaal really liked him. And I can't remember his bloody name. Someone in the chat's going to know. He nearly came to United. I think he got a knee injury. And then he ended up going to... He didn't go to the World Cup because of it. Strootman, that was it. Strootman. Kevin Strootman. Never heard of him since, really. I think that knee injury basically messed him up, didn't it? 32 now. Plays for Genoa. Dutch on the attack again. Oh, good tackle. Yeah, Kevin Strootman, 32 years of age. Spent 5 years at Roma. And the Dutch has just had a shot there. Memphis just had a shot there, tipped over. I think this has been Memphis's best game of the tournament. Mark, Kenneth Taylor equals interesting player, says Gabriel Akari. Yes, he is a very interesting player, Kenneth Taylor. Plays for Ajax. I think I had him in my FIFA career mode, actually, this year. Oh, keeper's dropped it, but gets the second ball. Well done, keeper there. Well done. Probably would have been a foul on you anyway, but he did a good job. Oh, yes, he did. As you can see there, just the one substitute for USA so far, Reina, with the red arrow on his back. But there was a couple from the Dutch at half time. So Van Gaal not content enough at 2-0 to not make a couple of changes. But still, possession is with the USA, as you can see. Iron Fan says, I really like Dest. I've been really impressed with him. Yes, he's had a good tournament. But look, here we go. Dumfries, he's going to shoot, is he? No. He wanted a penalty as well. I don't think he's going to get a penalty somehow. Kenneth Taylor sound like my local butcher, says Tom Grant. Referees played this on, and the USA are not going to wait here. They're going to play on. He's up against Aki. Ridiculous to shoot. And now the Dutch with Gakpo into Memphis. And Dumfries has got up now. Well, it's going end to end, isn't it? Still 27 minutes to go. Poor USA, they just can't score goals. It's been it's been a bit of a dull game, hasn't it? I want to say it's been a good game, but it's been a bit dull because really it's not reflective of the game we've watched. Apart from it is because the Dutch have just been very efficient. But as an actual game of football, it's not been your typical 2-0. The USA have been very much in the game. Some would say they've been the more progressive team, but they just can't create anything. Right, he's going to make a couple of subs here, USA. Aronson's going to come on. Robinson here, the left back. That'll be a loss. He's had a good game for the United States. David Lloyd says none of these are beating Argentina. From what I've seen of Argentina, I don't think that the Dutch would be without a chance. Assel says, I just feel like Argentina control the ball too much for Holland to beat them. I think Argentina would be defensively better than the United States if, I don't think that the Netherlands would be able to create the chances that they have with the USA, and that's not being disrespectful. I've been really impressed with the USA's fullbacks, but at centre back, I just think it's been a bit of a big ask for them tonight. Although no one understood, we were holding back the flood, holding back against the rest. 25 minutes to go. Obviously, it's Argentina against Australia tonight at 7, and it'll be a shame if we don't get a shock in one of these two games, won't it? I mean, I was looking forward to this one. I knew USA were going to bring the momentum from the group stage, and they have. But the efficiency of the Dutch has basically dealt with that so far. And you fear that the Argentinians may well do the same to the Australians tonight. I'd be stunned if the French don't do it to the Poles tomorrow. And then it just leaves England to do it against Senegal. And we've had a really unexciting start to the knockout stage, haven't we? We World Cups are defined by shocks. Everybody knows it. That's why the last few days everyone's been getting really excited, because it was a bit of a dull first week to the World Cup. Lots of nil-nils at half time, and then the last few days it's been really good. And you want that to come into the group stage because you want that to happen in the knockout stage, because what happens is the knockout stage gets set by the first few games, and if the first few games just go very to script, then every other game seems to be like that. Whereas, if we get a bit of excitement and something, it can catch fire. So I'm hoping we're going to get a shock even in the last 20 minutes here, but it's not looking like it at the moment. And like Douglas says, it's not always about shocks. It's about good or close games. And 2-0 is not a close game, is it? We need a goal. If you're going to go out with a bit of excitement. You could almost see a third goal happening more than a goal for them. I've played the game, and I haven't said that today. I've played the game. I've played the game, and I think that see, I think the Dutch, when they actually, take the lead off, so to speak, and just play with a little bit of freedom. They've got some really good players, but they just don't seem to want to be the team that has lots of the ball. Like, some of their passing's really good. But this World Cup so far, they don't seem to want to dominate the play. And what are the chances that they're going to become the dominant possession team the further they go in the tournament, and then they're playing Argentina next? Mark, interesting point. Australia scored first in all 3 group games, even against France. Tips for Australia later. Sort of looks like Australia there. It's meant to be orange, but they sort of have got that Australian gold look. If I was approaching this game tonight as Australia, you can't play like the USA have played this game. They can't, play a high line and try and press Argentina high up the pitch. It's not going to work. You're going to have to play deep. You've got to play more like the Netherlands, to be honest. As surprising as it sounds, you've got to say that Argentina need to play like the Netherlands. Australia need to play like the Netherlands. They need to be compact and well organised at the back. And then when they get chances to break, they've got to be quick and efficient with it. And if you get a chance, you've got to bloody take it, because you're not going to get loads. That game, to me, will be decided in the first half an hour. If Argentina get a goal in the first half an hour, it's going to go the same way as this one, really, where we've known it's been over for a very long time. But if Australia... Oh, double save by the keeper there. Give him a clap. Saves it from distance, bounces out to, I think it was Memphis, and goes to head it in, and he makes another save as well. Fantastic keeping there. But yeah, if Argentina score first in that one, it's going to be like this one, I'm afraid. Keeper's had a good game for USA, Good keeper. Arsenal keeper, isn't he, as well? It's a good shot as well, isn't it? Kept it down with that ball. We don't really see that happen very often. It was a good shot. One of the better shots I've seen from outside the box in the whole tournament. Kept it down. What's your favourite fruit? Says Zacco. I'm not really a massive fruit person, I prefer vegetables to fruit. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I do eat it, but there's not really a fruit I go, well, I'm really looking forward to a banana or an apple. No, there's not really a fruit that I go, ooh, yes, back of the net, we've got some red apples. No. Raz says the Dutch are looking fire. Raz has clearly just turned on for the last minute, hasn't he? Or she. I do like pineapple. I actually do like... You know what, Jared? I do like pineapple. You've probably just won the day. I like chopped pineapple. I don't like it when you get the big spiky thing with the feathers on. I mean, the leaves on the top. Can't be asked for that. But if someone chops it up for me, I like chopped pineapple, yeah. Grapes are okay. Grapes are okay if they're washed. See, you're doing well now. Mango... I don't mind mango, but... What shot? What a shit shot that is by Rayner. Blueberries are nice, yes. So you've got a few now. Anna says that this is Arsenal's number 2. He should be Arsenal's number 1. Well, I don't know about that. I think Ramsdale's had a good season, hasn't he? Should be England's number 1, Ramsdale, not Pickford. Pomegranate seeds. Yeah. Very nice. They are very nice. I tell you what, we always have it at Christmas. Actually, it's I don't know whether it's origins or might be Moroccan actually. It's like lamb in this lovely sauce with couscous, and then you have here we go. Oh, what a terrible touch. Fucking hell. That should have been 2-1. Right. Wrong. How's he messed this up? It's a back pass by Memphis. And his touch past the... Oh, God, it's crap. Absolute crap. Pineapples from Mallorca, says SD. I mean, that's a gift. They've had 2 gifts. I mean, the thing is, Netherlands are going to win this 2-0, and it's been very boring for a long time, this game, because we've known that the Netherlands are going to win. But actually, Pulisic should have scored, and Wright should have scored then. It's an absolute sitter. They've got no finishers, says Cans. No. It's a shame. It's a real shame. But we did say that they just don't look like they've got 2 goals in them. Pulisic, come on, do something. A goal! A goal for the US of A! We've got a goal back, and I think it's right. I tell you what, if he meant that, that's a cracker. That's an absolute Christmas cracker if he meant that. We've got a goal back. Game on, 15 minutes to go. 2-1. United States. They get it wide to Pulisic from the corner, and it just seems to flick in. Lovely play. Stay onside. Yes, cross. He's absolutely scammed it. There's nothing he meant about this. He's just thrown his foot at it. I thought he'd done an amazing flick for a minute, but let's have a look. I don't know what he does. It just sort of hits his foot and then spins up into the net. Well, here we go then. A bit of excitement in this game now. Exactly what we wanted. And I feel that the USA deserve that. They deserve a 15-minute shot at this, don't they? See what they can do. "15 minutes. Come on." I don't know how that goal goes in. Edwin says it's the ball. It seems to hit his foot and fly up in the air like a bloody balloon. I don't know what it just seemed to hit his foot and then find this amazing loop. Oh, here we go. Right. Be brave. Oh, he should have been brave there. I would not have let the keeper win that. I'd have had that. He bottled it, didn't he? Let the keeper have that 50-50. Striker should have bloody gone in 50-50 for that. I'll tell you what, if he'd meant that goal, it would have been amazing. But I think it just hit his foot and bounced up. And now, oh, Memphis. No, Bergwijn. Jared says, where's the Dallas dance? I tell you what, if USA equalised, I'm going to get the Dallas dance out. Definitely. I'll tell you what, we might get rescued here. This game, which for an hour has probably been a little bit boring, is suddenly we could get rescued here. Could have extra time. Pulisic, they've got to go for it. They're surely going to get a chance. Oh, he keeps shooting Pulisic and they're rubbish. 12 minutes to go. King Julie says, is Neymar coming back? I was told by somebody last night that they think the earliest he'll be back is the semi-final, if that. Semi-finals are a week and a half away, aren't they? Please do subscribe to by the way, bottom right hand corner. We are 12 minutes away from the 90 here, and looks like Simons is coming on for the Dutch. It's not been a great performance by the Dutch, has it? One thing's for sure, USA will go for it. Lovely ball. Lovely switch of the play, that is. No corner. Yeah, so the round of 16 goes till Tuesday night. Then we get 2 days off. Wednesday, Thursday. Quarterfinals are Friday, Saturday. And then semi-finals, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then the finals on the following Sunday, on the 18th. Yeah, Al-Azhar, I've been very impressed with Robinson at left back. For United States, really good tournament for him. But you know what? The Dutch could get a goal on the break. Here's Memphis. That's a good cross. Goal. That's how I told you. Who's marking him there? Game over. Dumfries. That's it. Game over. You can't argue with it, can you? It's not been pretty from the Dutch, but they've scored 3 goals. It's been ridiculously efficient. You cannot argue with it. You can't. I'll tell you what they have done tactically. They've struggled with the Daley Blind and Dumfries scenario. I mean, at the end of the day, this game would be 1-1 if it wasn't for fullback goals. And they've just, and this is fullback to fullback. It's Daley Blind with the cross. It's Dumfries with the finish. Daley Blind scored just before half time. The United States have not been able to deal with this back five formation, have they? Daley Blind was the spare man to score the second goal. Dumfries is the spare man to score the third goal. Whatever United States plan is, they have not picked up the wing backs, and it's where the Dutch have exploited them. If you think about the goals, Dumfries passes it to Memphis. Daley Blind scores the second goal, and Dumfries scores the third goal. They've been great, says Matthew Holman. They've been the difference. So 10 minutes to go. We had 5 minutes of this game being interesting. Dr. Pirate says, didn't Goldbridge just say their left back's good? Yeah, you can still have a good game and be at fault for a goal, by the way. And also, is it his problem to pick up a right back or a right wing back? I think whatever the problem is, United States haven't dealt with it. But a bit of a quieter game for Gakpo, though, from a United point of view. I mean, I think he's been decent, but he's not had the headlines, has he? So that's a win, really. Didn't want him to be scoring a hat-trick or anything stupid like that. I do remember the cartoon, The Raccoons. Cyril Sneer. Very good. Saturday morning. Sheriff says, Daley Blind is quality. Wish United held on to him. And thoughts on Timber so far? Would you take him at United based on what you've seen so far, says Spencer? I mean, I think the Dutch defence has played well, but also let's not forget that we're playing against a USA side that's really not really got anything up front. AMK says, funny how every player is United linked performing in the World Cup. Ten Hag is a visionary, doesn't do it. It's buts and maybes, only absolutes, is AMK. And Daily Blend is such a brilliant footballer, says Jonathan White. Well, look, how far can the Dutch go in this tournament? They're through now, and I think they've been through for a long time in this game because of the inability to score goals from the USA. But 3-1 is a comprehensive win, if it's assuming it stays at 3-1. Well, the Dutch aren't easy on the eye. I would say that they're not. But the other thing I would say about them is defensively they're strong, and they can score. So they've got it. They've got a good mix going on, the Dutch. I mean, effectively, I think the semi-final will be where they go out if they can get past Argentina. Argentina against the Netherlands would be hard to call. I think many people will say Argentina are the favourites, but have people watched Argentina this tournament? I don't think Argentina are playing anywhere near the level of what we've seen a France or a Brazil play, or even a Spain in the first two games. So I think Netherlands against Argentina will be intriguing. They're efficient, says Bryn. Yeah, I think the Dutch have been very efficient, and you could see a semi-final if the Dutch got through against Brazil. You could see that being a tight game. So look, the Dutch have just got to do what they're doing, haven't they? I tell you what I would say about the Dutch. The most positive thing I would say about the Dutch is they're hard to beat. They're hard to beat. They're defensively well set up. I mean, the goal they conceded was freaky. How would you mark this game out of 10? Well, 6 is average, isn't it? So I'd mark it as a 6. I think it's just been disappointing in the sense that I think the United States approached it the way they should have done, but ultimately they've just been beaten by efficiency, haven't they? And it's not been a great game. It's not because of that. I'm just hoping in this knockout stage we do get some, close, exciting games. I just think it's so important Australia don't concede in the first half an hour later on. Because we all want to see a shock, don't we? We all want to see a shock or a really entertaining, tight game. And the best games are the tight games. I don't want to see one tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Senegal is not the shock I want in this tournament. Dan O'Brien says first real test for the USA and they crumble. Well, no, I disagree with that. I don't think USA were guaranteed to go through the group, and they comfortably deserved to do it. They played very well against England. But they've come up against a team today that's just schooled them a bit. They've scored at the right time. They've defended well, and the USA will feel like they've had so much of the ball. They should have done better, but they've just got to learn over the next 4 years, and effectively you need to find a striker. But look, I don't have favouritism or anything like that. I'll be sad to see the USA go out. I think they have been a team that could have been the dark horses of the tournament. They have been a team that's been easy on the eye, and I think it's always a shame when a team that goes out, it doesn't mean they're going to win it, but I think it's always a shame when a team goes out that plays football that's watchable, and they've been a really watchable team. It's like Leeds in the Premier League. I mean, I don't like Leeds as a United fan, but they're always a watchable team, Leeds. You're going to get you don't know they're going to win, but you know that they're watchable, and I think that United States sort of have been the Leeds of this World Cup. They've been a very watchable team, and when you lose a team like that from the World Cup, it's a little bit disappointing, isn't it? Because if USA went to the quarterfinal, they're going to be they're going to play their part in it being a decent game. Netherlands, I'd hate to see the Netherlands get drawn against someone like England, because I think it would be a terrible game of football. Fortunately, they're in the different side of the draws. Netherlands are all right to watch as long as they're playing a team like who wants to attack. And the United States want to do that. Brazil will want to do that. And hopefully if Argentina get through, they will. I mean, can you imagine the Dutch against Australia? That would be a good game. To be fair, the Dutch would have to attack, wouldn't they? This is good play by the Dutch. Good tackle, though. Definite progression for USA. Definitely, it doesn't mean anything really, does it? Because you're out. But definitely, you've entertained. I don't think anybody can say that you weren't a decent side to watch. You just got to learn the lessons. And as I said at half time, this is the best lesson you can take, because you've lost this game because the Dutch were efficient and you weren't. So what you got to learn for the next World Cup? Take your chances. Be better in the final third. England play France if they win, says AMK. Yep. Rocky says, I'd rather play rubbish and win than good and lose. Pimp says, who thinks the Dutch are boring? I think boring's a very harsh word for a team that's just won 3-1. I think they have a style of football that's pragmatic and counter-attacking, but it's also very effective so far. Do I think it's gonna? Is that the best way for this Dutch team to play? Maybe it is. Put the oven on, please. Yeah. Thank you. Adel says, I think you're moaning too much about this World Cup. It's not actually that bad. Mate, I don't know why I'm being attached with saying that this World Cup shit. I haven't said this World Cup shit at all. I haven't said that, so I don't know why people think I'm the cheerleader of this being the world's worst World Cup. I don't like the World Cup timing. And I think I think money is destroying this game, and the integrity of our sports is being ridiculed by this World Cup, because how can we should have cancelled the Carabao Cup this year? Why are we playing a tournament where there's a knockout round where teams are going to be playing without 75% of their first team because of the World Cup? It's ridiculous. I think the integrity of the Premier League will be in question in the second half of the season when everyone's bloody knackered. But as a World Cup tournament, that's FIFA's fault. That's not necessarily Qatar's fault, by the way. I don't know why people seem to think that it's all about Qatar. But the World Cup's here. We're all watching it, and I think the last 3 days has been really good. I think we need the knockout stage to deliver, and it hasn't delivered in this game, and I don't think it's going to deliver in the next game. We need some close, exciting games, and we can't wait for the quarterfinals for that to happen. So I'm just hoping over, either Australia tonight or Poland tomorrow or Morocco, or I'm not hoping for Senegal. I want a boring 2-0 win in that one. The World Cups. Any World Cup is only as good as the content, and the group stage ended really, really well. We need the knockout stage to live up to it as well. And the only way we're going to do that is if we get some really entertaining, exciting games. Mark, are you doing a watch-along for the boxing tonight? Says Joel. No, I'm not even going to watch it, mate. John says, Mark, you've touched on it. USA missed too many chances against the side that can finish. The Dutch will likely go down, says John. Could you actually, I was just thinking there about England, could you not just say that the Dutch are very much like England? Their tournament really isn't going to start until the quarterfinals when they play somebody that's actually going to give them a game. Because, look, we all know that USA's attack's not that good. So has this Dutch side really, has their defence really been tested yet? We don't know. The Dutch could be onto something really good, or maybe their tournament hasn't started yet. But you look at those stats there, 58% possession for the USA, 16 shots to 11, 8 on target to 6. They've been the dominant force, but they're not the dominant force there, because that's efficient and that is wasteful. I think the Netherlands are a bit like England. I don't think our tournament starts till the quarterfinals, and that's when we play somebody decent. And we might be pleasantly surprised. Maybe the Dutch play Argentina next week and they win 3-0 and play really well, and it's like, oh, they're growing into this tournament efficiently. Or maybe they play Argentina next week, if they beat Australia, of course, and they get sent home, and the Dutch people are like, well, it wasn't a great World Cup. We never really got tested. Didn't play well before. We played Argentina and then we got knocked out. Could go either way, and I think England are in the same position as well. I think England will beat Senegal tomorrow. Then we're going to play France, and if France beat us, we'll go, well, it was a bit of a shit World Cup. We never really got tested, and then when we did, we got knocked out. Or we beat France and we go, this could be a really good World Cup. Thanks everyone for tuning in anyway, by the way. Please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. And don't forget, we're back for the Argentina game against Australia at 7 o'clock. And France, Poland tomorrow, and England, Senegal tomorrow. I've pulled rank tomorrow. There ain't no way I'm not doing those. France, I've been very impressed with. And obviously, I'm always going to do the England game as well. And there it is, the final whistle, and the Dutch go through. Gakpo and Memphis have a cuddle. Memphis to Dumfries, man of the match, goal and an assist. Good game for him. Did he assist the Blind one as well? Did he get 2 assists? I don't know, but he had a good game. Let me know in the chat. Root for Australia tonight, says Manu. Oh yeah, definitely. I wanted the USA to win. Fair play to the Dutch. The right result at the end. I mean, if you can't score, you're not going to win. Look at those stats. USA shouldn't be losing 3-1, but they've got nothing up front. So they can go out with their heads held high, but they can't say there was an injustice. They can't do that. And I hope Australia win tonight, because we want an underdog to win. We want a game to be, whether people like it or not, what makes a good World Cup are shocks and tight, exciting games. So he got 2 assists and a goal today, Dumfries. So he's head and shoulders man of the match. Fantastic result for the Dutch. Sad to see the United States go out. I really am. I've been really impressed with them this tournament, and I hope you can take the lessons and grow for the next World Cup, which I'm sure they will. They need to find a striker, but that midfield deserves a huge shout out. One of the best midfields of the tournament, McKennie and Muzza and Adams. But it's the Dutch go through to the quarterfinal, and they will play Argentina or Australia, and we'll be live for that at 7 o'clock. Thank you everyone for watching. Let's hope we're going to get a shock. I really think we need it. We can't have this. It's only game 1 of 8, but we can't have Netherlands, Argentina, England, France, Brazil, Portugal, Spain and Croatia going through. Otherwise, it's going to pop the momentum that we've had of the last few days. Let's see what happens later. We're back at 7 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Take care. I'm going to go and get myself a pizza because I'm starving.